So I just finished reading Project Management for the Unofficial Project Manager. And it's by Kory Kogan, Suzette Blakemore, and James Wood. The reason that I read this book is because it was a Christmas present from my boss at work. And I mentioned before that I work at a lumberyard. And it was a nice, thoughtful gift. My boss knows that I'm a reader, and bought me a book. So, nice. The book is strange. Uh, I shouldn't. There's no reason to comment on the quality of the writing. It's not that kind of book. It's basically utilitarian. I would describe the book as like a corporate self-help book. The premise is that you are someone, the reader is someone who um, takes on, has more responsibilities and takes on more tasks and has to solve problems, but does not have a position or title or authority. And it's to the point of like that's your official capacity, is that you're an unofficial manager. And very early on, the book addresses that, and says, kind of, you should feel good about not having a title, and makes the most outrageous comparison. It says, Gandhi didn't have a title. Look what Gandhi did without a title. So if you're reading this, you should think, well, gosh, I mean, if Gandhi didn't have a title, why should I have a title? So much of the way the book is advising you to interact with your coworkers is borderline insidious. It's completely manipulative. In fact, this book, this corporate book, quotes Machiavelli. There's Machiavelli quotes in this thing, which I did not see that coming. It's full of these like narrative examples of corporate problems, how everyone's interacting and trying to do some task or project, and the the book will cut in and out with advice and identifying where the problems came in and things like that. One of them just kind of tickled me was that a person walks into a boss's office and asks them if they want a snack, and the boss says that they would like an apple. The person comes back in and presents the boss with a green apple, and the boss is disappointed. An end scene. And the book says, where did the person go wrong? Not where did the boss go wrong? Where did the other person go wrong? Which is an interesting thing that runs throughout the book, is that any improvement is on you. It's not your boss, which might be good advice just pragmatically, but it's very interesting that it's not at least in any way addressed in the book. In any event, the boss wanted a Red Delicious, and the person gave them a Granny Smith. And it's just such a funny example. Like, one, if someone asks for an apple to eat, you don't get them a Granny Smith. You just don't. Even if people like Granny Smiths, it's a baking apple, so it would be an exception. And then also, what's wrong with his boss wanting to eat a Red Delicious? Like, if someone asks for an apple, you should get them a Gala or a Fuji or maybe a Honeycrisp. But neither one of the apples that they mentioned, not a Granny Smith and not a Red Delicious. Bread Delicious looks good, but it's not tasty. Anyway, um, it's the thing is just full of really obvious, things like listen, have accountability, um, demonstrate respect, clarify expectations, practice accountability. Um, the thing I was really curious about is getting towards the end is um, Andy. Nowhere in the book is there any mention of compensation or any like monetary reward for your efforts. You should. The idea of the book, and I think the reason that it was written by this committee is basically to justify and figure out a way to incentivize people to do more work without reward. I think that's the reason for this whole entire book. And I also don't think that this book was written for a person that is striving to be an unofficial project manager. I think this book was written for managers to read to figure out how to get their employees to do more without giving them any incentive through compensation. I really think that this is the kind of book that is put in baskets at corporate retreats for people to figure out how to get their employees to do more. I should also say I don't think that's why my boss gave it to me. I think he had good intentions, but I do think that's why the book was written. I don't think these three people got together by themselves and sat down and said, we should really write a book about this poor group of people who have no authority, but do all this kind of extra work at work, and we need to help them in their unofficial capacity. I don't buy that for a second. I will say that it says at the end of the book, if you had a successful project, that what you should do is have a celebratory meeting, and that you should reward the people that did a good job by giving them a thank you note. And it says, people love thank you notes. So if someone does a good job, give them a thank you note. It's hilarious to me. Anyway, I can say that I read it. I would not recommend it to anybody. If someone's in this position, they shouldn't read it. If you're a manager trying to figure out how to get people to work harder, I mean, I don't know. I don't. I would love to know like the sales stats on this book and who is buying them. Like, is this the kind of book that's bought in bulk and sent out? Which is kind of what I think. I'll end there. Just, I'm always amazed that these things get written. Leave a comment if you'd like, and thank you for watching. Bye.